ladies, welcome back to my channel. I am Carolyn Eternal Soul, and in today's video we're going to be covering the April full moon, which is in Scorpio. Many times this is referred to as the pink full moon of the year, and the reason for that is because the pink moss wildflower blooms in North America, and of course North America decides everything. Anyway, that's why it's called a pink full moon, traditionally. Now, in astrology, this full moon is in Scorpio. Typically, this is going to be a moon that you would release, right? A full moon is where you do all of your releasing. But this particular full moon is a little bit different than your traditional release. This one is a little bit in the energy of manifesting. So we're going to be doing both of those things simultaneously in this full moon. It's going to be pretty interesting, to say the least, about what that energy is going to feel like. So the reason for this is because the eclipse season, short-term eclipse season, has finished. We're through the eclipses. We're through these crazy ass portals, the chaos energy that was associated with that. And this full moon comes on the heels of the Uranus and Jupiter conjunction. And that has a lot of really magical energy associated with it. And so this full moon has sort of the sprinkling of that energy in it. And that's why it's also going to help us manifest as well as a release. Now, Scorpio is a very intense energy. However, this particular full moon in Scorpio is going to feel a lot less intense than the energies that we have had in the past few months because of the eclipses. The eclipses are naturally way more intense, of an energy of release, of manifesting. They're very intense portals. So this is going to seem mild compared to a lot of that energy, and even a bit optimistic because of the conjunction. So as I'm recording this, we're currently in the conjunction. So a lot of that energy is going to come through in this reading. So I asked Scorpio what deck she would like to use, and of course she decides to pick the Wild Unknown. And so the main thing I believe about this particular full moon to keep in mind, maybe not put so much pressure on yourself this time. I think it's more about being open to the energies that want to come through, because this one is going to be very intensely emotional. Like I said, it's going to be mild compared to what we've had already, but it's going to flare up for this particular full moon. And Scorpio is very deeply emotional in the subconscious. You might also want to look to see where your Pluto placement is, because whatever house and sign that is in is also going to be affected by this particular full moon, as Scorpio's ruling planet is Pluto. So the main theme that I'm receiving for this particular full moon is that our deepest emotional truth is the thing that's going to be available to us in a way that it isn't normally. Now, the reason that this is dually releasing and manifesting is because when you finally look at your deepest emotional truth, it can be very freeing. It can be very liberating, empowering. And with that energy, you are definitely going to want to use that to your advantage and manifest. And the other aspect of that is when we are confronted with our deepest emotional truth, there's a lot of restriction that we have built for ourselves so that we don't have to face such deep emotional truths. We have so much distraction in our lives, especially now, more than ever, more than we ever have as human beings. Every single second of our lives is met with a distraction of some kind. Even things that you wouldn't consider to be a distraction ultimately are a distraction. And we're sort of conditioned to seek out these distractions and not really allow ourselves to not only confront our deepest emotional truth, but to accept and allow that truth. Many people during this particular full moon are going to have spiritual awakenings. Now, that could be something that is really intense for you on the heels of these very intense eclipse season that we've had. Or it could be more like an epiphany, something that you're discovering about yourself in your spiritual understanding, your own truth coming to the surface, coming to light for you to activate, for you to step into, for you to embody, right? So it could be earth-shattering or it could just be supplemental. The other aspect of this is recognizing how truly magical we are in this place. Earth is difficult to say the least, okay? And it's full of unknowns. It's full of pressure to move forward. Earth isn't a place where we can do nothing. It's really not possible. People think that they can, but that's not why you're here. You're here to move forward. You're here to embody your purpose. And so this particular full moon is going to be so palpable for you to understand your own personal sense of magic and also how you are a healer. When you discover your ability to heal, you are inherently a healer. By healing yourself, you're healing others. Now, how you do that is completely up to you. And that could also be something that comes forward during this particular full moon. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to pull some cards to get a little bit more information about what we can expect with this particular deeply emotional, authentic full moon. Okay, so I pulled the cards that we are receiving from Scorpio full moon to understand what this is for us and how we can manifest with that, how we can release with that, all of those good things. What is to come out of this beautiful full moon energy. And I'm also using some oracle cards that I've gotten from a friend of mine. I'm going to link these in the description below. The first oracle that I'm going to pull is from the Pastel Goth oracle. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. If I'm wrong, I will correct myself down in the description box. It is from a friend of mine. Her name, I know over on TikTok, is the Sweary Affirmations. But I'm going to link her below where you can find this deck if you so choose. And the second oracle is the Straight Up Oracle, which is another one of her decks, which are really cool, really amazing. So if you guys are interested in that, feel free to check them out by the link in the description. Okay, so first oracle that we got for this full moon, and I'm telling you, Scorpio, out the freaking gate here. I laughed when I saw the coffin. It says, be at peace with the things you can't control. Right? That is a very deep emotional truth that a lot of us struggle with. And this is definitely something that is important for us to understand, especially during this particular full moon, that there's a lot of our journey that we're not able to control. There's a lot of things that happen as a result of our asking, our desires, that are completely out of our control. And so, for instance, other people's opinions, other people's actions, things that happen as a result of other people's actions. The only person that you can control is yourself. And honestly, sometimes that's not even really the case. We're not meant to control ourselves, we're meant to accept. So there's a lot of things that could be on that list to release, right? So the first thing that we're going to be trying to release with this full moon is things that we cannot control. Second oracle card that we have today is from the Straight Up Oracle. The more that you like yourself, the less you'll need others to. A deeply held emotional truth that is probably something that a lot of people are hiding from themselves is that you are worthy of love, and the most wholesome, the most healing love that you could ever accept, receive, experience is the love that you give to yourself. Genuine, authentic. So many of us do struggle with feeling like we are worthy of love. And I ask you, are you displaying that to yourself? Are you showing yourself love? Or are you forcing yourself to do things that you don't actually want to do? Are you judgmental of yourself? Are you always putting yourself down for missteps and mistakes? There's no such thing as a misstep or a mistake. It's always learning. It's always an opportunity for us to learn about ourselves and about our journey and what is best for us. Itchy palm. Okay, so the first tarot card that we have, no surprise, is the Hermit card. So with the Hermit, Spirit is really asking us to go within. This is just that confirmation. It is really important for us to do this. Now, how can we do this with this particular full moon? Meditation. I just finished doing a meditation myself, and I used a deep space sound, and those are always my favorite. It always makes me feel so connected with the universe. And I it's so hard to explain. Like, my body just kind of releases everything when I listen to those sounds. So I'm going to recommend that for anybody that is interested in it, has never used one of those sounds. They have them on YouTube. You can look those up. But definitely meditation. Meditation is going to be key for you. And if you don't find time to do it on the day, try to do it the day before or the day after. You have 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes where you can meditate, and you don't even really have to be concentrating on anything other than relaxation and having the intention that anything that you're meant to understand about yourself will come up. So if you are in meditation and very negative thinking comes up, distractions come up, that's for you to understand this is where your defense mechanism is. Your defense mechanism is the one that's keeping you distracted from being able to go deep down inside of yourself. It's the one that's constantly having these thoughts that you're not good enough, you're never going to figure it out, this is too hard. These are all distractions, right? So this is part of it. That's part of the information. That's part of the release, right? It's not that you're not doing it incorrectly. If anything, you're doing it right. Very, very right. And so the reason that these thoughts are coming up is so that you can assess, is this my deepest emotional truth? Now, these feel more like a result of that. And I think people really underestimate the power of meditation. Really what it is that you're reconnecting with yourself. You're hanging out with yourself in your head. So if you struggle to do meditation, It's because you have a lot of noise. You have a lot of garbage up inside of your head that's keeping you away from your heart. It's keeping you away from having that deeper connection with yourself. And in trying to have that deeper emotional connection with yourself, we have the opportunity to experience the 10 of Pentacles. Now, the 10 of Pentacles is deep satisfaction. This is stability. This is stability in the home, in your career, really in all areas of your life. True satisfaction. In a physical experience. A lot of times people say that this is the card of ultimate manifestation. And it's interesting that it's coming up in this reading. Of course, Spirit is letting us know that absolutely this full moon is meant to manifest. You are meant to manifest with this full moon. And so if you are having those signals, if you're having that desire to start manifesting for yourself during a time that's meant for release, listen to your truth. Listen to what is coming from inside of you. Now, if you do not resonate with that, obviously you're also going to follow your truth in that way. However, I would really encourage you to understand where that feeling is coming from. If it's coming from an ultimate truth of yours, absolutely follow that. But I would encourage you to look and see if it's possibly coming from a defense mechanism. That when we feel unworthy of something we're trying to receive, our ego, the mess inside of our head, is going to convince us that, oh no, this isn't for that. This isn't what we're meant to do. Nobody wrote that. Nobody said that. So really listen to how the language of what it is that you're receiving sounds. Is it fearful? Is it defensive? Is it judgmental? That's going to tell you a lot. That's going to point right back to the ego. We also have here, which I love this so much, the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is one of my very favorite cards. This energy is receiving recognition for things that you have done. But I feel like more importantly, it's receiving recognition for who you truly are. The Queen of Wands is so purely authentic. She's passionate, she's creative. She allows herself to be spontaneous if she feels like being spontaneous. But because she is allowing herself to be this deeply authentic version of herself, she is able to receive so many amazing things in her life. So whatever it is that you're trying to manifest at this time, I feel like a lot of this is, these are things that we have been trying to manifest but have felt restricted. These are things that are going to be coming through with this full moon energy that have been in the works. Things that have felt, I've put in so much work. I've put in so much time and effort. I've done my healing. Where the heck's my stuff, right? There are certain experiences that we need to have in order for us to be able to see things clearly, to be able to understand things on a deeper level, okay? Sometimes when we receive the thing that we think we want, it is really just a distraction. However, with this reading here, what I'm seeing is that as long as you are manifesting from a deeply emotional, authentic place, that you are going to be receiving these blessings, these manifestations, these experiences that you've been trying to manifest for a very long time. And I see that very clearly in this next few cards here. We have the Fool, which is a brand new experience. This is a new start, a fresh start. And I would say that that is very true, especially after this latest eclipse season that we've had. And it's something from the past with the Six of Cups. Something that's already been in the works, right? And that's the feeling that I'm receiving here so very strongly, that it is a fresh start to things that we have already been starting, things that we've already had on our mind, things we've already been trying to do. And the reason that it's been so long that we haven't been able to receive these things or go towards these things is because there is a deeply held emotional truth and authenticity that must come to the surface, be recognized and embodied. So that is your spiritual awakening. That is exactly what that will feel like. A lifting of the pressure, a lifting of the confusion. And we have great amounts of luck during this particular time. And as long this is just coming through so strongly, as long as you are being honest with yourself about what you truly want, not the distractions, not what you're supposed to want, not what looks good, but what really is in your heart. And your ability to meditate will give you the purest example of how distracted you are. Be at peace with the things you cannot control. Your mind being one of those things. The more that you try to exact control over your mind, the more you're going to experience that level of agitation. And a lot of times when people struggle with meditation, this is the reason. They're trying to get control of their mind. They're saying, shush, nothing, shut up. I don't want to hear anything. Now, I have ADHD, and for the most part, my mind does not shut off. I can't even remember the last time that I had no thought. To be honest, it was probably when I was trying to have a thought. That's the only time that my brain is like, or it'll play some annoying thing that has no relevance to what I'm trying to get at, right? So even for people that are neurodivergent, even for people that are having a brain that is always working, that is not what I'm talking about, okay? When I meditate, my brain doesn't turn off. However, I am fully capable of being in a meditative state where my body feels peaceful, my mind feels peaceful. It's because the thoughts that I'm having are coming directly from my higher self. They're coming directly from my spirit guides. I'm able to quiet the distractions in my head because I have allowed myself to be aware that this is happening and set a boundary inside here. It takes some practice, but clearly what I'm seeing here is there is no time to start like the present moment, especially with this really amazing energy, right? So if we're talking about manifesting and releasing simultaneously, that 100% is meditating on your deepest emotional truth. Because your deepest emotional truth is what the universe is responding to. The universe is not responding to the distraction shit inside of your head. Absolutely not. The universe is responding to the deepest truth that is in your heart. So it's really important for us to try to release control over making ourselves in a state where we believe we're doing a good job. Trying is doing a good job. I also feel as though this is a turning point. There's been a lot of those recently, but this one feels very much on the upward trend. Now, if you have had an experience like I have had over the last few years, it has been feeling very, very oppressive, very pressurized. Mostly because of stubbornness, of denial, a sense of control. And it's time for us to release that sense of control. It's time for us to let ourselves be. Just be what you really are. Just be what you already are. The thing is that finding your deepest emotional truth isn't about searching. It's about allowing. There's nothing really for you to find. It's more like giving up the distractions, giving up the control, and just letting it rise to the surface. Your deepest emotional truth is the lightest thing about you. And when you finally allow yourself to release that sense of control that you think you need to have over yourself, for whatever the reason, you're able to connect with it. Anyway, my dears, that is what I have for you with this full moon reading. If you resonated with this reading and really enjoyed it, please feel free to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. It really does help my channel to grow, and so that you can see more of what it is that I'm going to be doing going forward. And I am sending each and every one of you so much love and support on your journey.